be giving 3 homeowners the opportunity to snoop around each other's houses before giving them 1 week and £1,000 to make changes to their own properties in the hopes they can bag themselves a buyer. Today in Luton, harsh words for the sellers. Peter Stringfellow called and asked if he could have his towel back. You are losing 2.5 foot of room in here. Cosmetic chaos. Half of the ceiling needs patching up.
I'm already bored of doing this. I came home to this, which I wasn't very happy about.
And competition is high.
I prefer the feel of mine, and I'm going to win.
We've got it in the bag.
Today I'm in Luton with 3 homeowners who are all trying to sell their properties. Luton house prices have been sluggish lately, rising at just 1/5 the rate of the national average. All 3 sellers will be competing to win an offer from my buyer, Sandeep, who is looking to move his family closer to his children's schools. So, Sandeep, tell me what you're looking for. Do you have a particular style?
My wife likes more modern, open plan, but I'm more traditional. I would like separate dining rooms, separate living room.
OK. Who's going to win?
I think it will be my wife. She wears the trousers in the house.
At least you know that.
Yeah,
At least you're not sort of under any illusion.
Yeah.
What would you compromise on? Let's say I found you the perfect house, but it only had 3 bedrooms. Would you compromise on that?
I think I could compromise on that as long as there is a space to extend.
Shall we begin the search?
Yes, please.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
For his wish list, as well as extending, Sandeep wants 4 bedrooms for his £400,000 budget. I found 3 homeowners with properties that I'm hoping are right up Sandeep's street. However, there is room for improvement with all 3. My first seller is designer and illustrator Andy and his 3-bed end-of-terrace cottage. Originally bought as a short-term investment, Andy fell for the property and is still there, 5 years on.
I liked the idea originally of something to sort of get my teeth into and then move on. But of course, as you add your touch to it, you start to fall in love with it, and that's exactly what happened with me.
And Andy's touch is certainly distinctive.
My style, oh God, what is my style? I've made the house very black and white. Possibly people might look at that and think it's a batch pad or it's, you know, stark, whatever. But I sort of did that unconsciously, to be honest with you.
Andy's 3-bed, 2 cool-for-school cottage comes with a garage and a large garden with plenty of space for Sandeep's extension. It's the cheapest of my 3 houses at £335,000. My next seller's a pharmacist, Sonul, and her husband, Avi, who's a dentist. Over the 6 years they've lived in their 4-bed detached, they've made it their own. Though when it comes to styling, the pair don't always see eye to eye.
There's certain rooms that you can just tell, like Avi's had his stamp on it. And there's certain rooms which I've had more of an input in.
My style is more of a plain and simple look, easy to maintain.
Whereas Sonul has had particular input in the spare room, which she has taken over completely.
The dressing room used to be a single bedroom before the actual wardrobes of Sonul's and all of her clothes went into that room.
Every girl needs somewhere to put all her things, so it's fair enough.
Sonul and Avi's his and hers detached house has the 4 bedrooms that will appeal to Sandeep and a landscape garden with a summer house. It's on the market at £385,000. My third and final seller is mother of 2, Chris. When she and her husband bought their 4-bed semi, she knew it was her dream home.
We just loved it. I loved the garden, I loved the summer house. Bit by bit over the years, we've just made it our own, really.
And that making it their own has involved a lot of paint, very colourful paint.
I like the fact that because we've got bigger rooms, we can use stronger colours in it. The kitchen, I wanted it to have a Mediterranean feel, but it did take some persuading my husband to do it.
I bet it did. Chris's multicoloured home has Sandeep's ideal 4 bedrooms and a large kitchen diner, and it's on the market at £360,000. So it's Andy and his 2 cool-for-school terraced cottage, Sonul and Avi with their his and hers detached house, and Chris with her multicoloured home. And now our sellers get the chance to look at each other's houses so they can check out the competition and work out the best way to ensure a win. The first property up for a snoop is Sonul and Avi's. This house has got so much going for it, with extensions either side leading onto a beautiful garden, and the downstairs is flooded with light. But upstairs, the decor and room configuration could be putting buyers off, which means that Sonul and Avi are missing out on that all-important sale. Time to find out what their rivals think.
Lovely new house. It looks like it's been well looked after, well maintained.
The front of the house looks lovely. You can kind of get a feel that it's going to be relatively roomy inside, potentially.
Positives outside, but inside, Chris is already thinking colours.
I might have just done something with the colour of the walls, to be honest. That'd be the thing that I would do, just to sort of brighten it up a little bit.
Now there's a surprise. Andy's in the conservatory.
Yeah, I like the decor. It's very nice. I'm not a great fan of dark mahoganies and so on, but that's just my own take on it.
So, on to the second conservatory.
I think the only thing really is that where they've used strong colours in the other conservatory, in this one it's a lot more muted.
Not like your place, eh, Chris? Moving up to the second bedroom.
I think as a spare room it works quite well, but I'd probably look to see if there was somewhere maybe where I could put the filing cabinet.
And in the box room, or should I say Sonul's dressing room.
That's either a massive, massive cupboard, or this is a small room. And again, you can't actually get, I don't think you can get a bed in here with that cupboard, so I'm assuming if that was taken out, you could.
This house is the most expensive of the three.
Wow, I'm really amazed that this house is on for $385. I thought that it would be on for something comparable to what our house is on for.
I prefer the feel of mine, and I'm going to win.
Steady, complacency doesn't sell houses. Next, we're off to Chris's four-bed semi. This spacious 1930s semi is full of colour and life, and it's good to see someone that isn't afraid of using bold patterns and designs. But the overall effect can feel quite overpowering, and Chris's use of such a dramatic colour outside might put potential buyers off before they've even gone through the front door.
I'm not a fan of the red. I don't like red brickwork, and it looks like a bit too much for me.
If you think that's bad, check out the kitchen.
Pink, I'm just seeing pink. And that kind of is in my eyes everywhere I look.
I think, you know, there's bold colours all over this house, so it is quite difficult to kind of see beyond the green colour, because that's the first thing you notice as you walk into the room.
And the bold decor doesn't stop in the living room.
It needs modernising, it needs something doing to it. I think it's probably decorated quite a while ago, and you could do a lot with this. There's a lot you could do with this.
I think the walls would be a big impact.
It just feels like it's got too much of a stamp of someone's personality in here. The whole house, almost.
This house sits in the middle of the three price-wise at £360,000.
For the area, for the size of space you're getting, I think it is pretty good value.
Priced fairly, but this house hasn't inspired either seller. The final house to come under scrutiny is Andy's. Andy has worked hard to create a unique contemporary cottage with stylish features and a massive back garden, but at the moment it's very hard to see past the monochrome bachelor pad that it is and realise its full potential.
The exterior looks quite nice. I quite like the white and black. It stands out from the rest of the street.
Smartest one on this road, I'd say, so far, from what we've seen.
Once in the house...
If it was my house, I'd be looking to see where I could put...
Let me guess, Chris. Colour?
A little bit of colour into it.
Thought so.
Whether maybe it's the colour on this wall or something, just to break it up a little bit.
I'll bet you'll say the same in the lounge.
It feels more like a basement.
Yeah, like
towards me. A basement, sort of a games room.
Like a man's room, apart from the incense burning, I guess.
I'm one for having stuff out of sight and stuff like that, so the bike at the front that just sort of grabs your attention. I think if I had people coming around looking at my house, I'd have that put away in the garage or something.
Fair point.
There seems to be a bit of a black and white theme, I think, in the house. I'd probably want to see this maybe looking as a bedroom.
A bed in here would help towards the sellability of the house.
Yeah, definitely.
Indeed, and a bed might help in your spare room as well. It's time to reveal this house is the cheapest of the three at £335,000.
Crikey, I thought it would be somewhere in that sort of region, mainly because our house is larger, because we've got 4 double bedrooms.
Quietly confident in our house. I mean, I think we've got a lot more living space there, and obviously the potential in our house is even better as well.
So, after the final look, Sonul and Avi have seen how off-putting a bedroom without a bed can be. But Chris hasn't been swayed from her colourful ways. I'm in Luton with 3 homeowners who are competing for an offer for their properties from my buyer, Sandeep. But before I show Sandeep round their houses, my 3 sellers have been given the chance to take a sneak peek at each other's homes.
From my own house's point of view, you can't compare it, and you shouldn't compare it. If you're looking for a cottage, buy mine.
I think we've still got the upper hand. I think we've got more living space, so I still think...
I think we've got the upper hand.
Yeah.
I think we've got the upper hand.
I'm not quite as confident as I was before. I think it's fairly level pegging, really. It just gives me the momentum to want to make those changes that could maybe give us the edge.
Whilst the others seem a little cocky, at least Chris has been inspired, so I'm heading to her place to see just how much of the OTT colours she'll ditch. So, Chris, the outside of your property, what do you think it says about the inside of your property?
I think the bold colours just give you a little bit of a taste of what there is to come.
You have chosen an incredibly bold colour to paint the outside of your house, and one comment that the other sellers picked up on was that it was too bright. I would be extremely tempted to suggest that you paint all the brickwork that you currently have red to paint it just an off-white, and that way it will dull down the red door. But how do you feel about toning it down out here?
I can live with that, that's OK.
Yeah,
I can
is
cope
that
with that
stuff
being
you can
changed.
do?
Yeah, I think so.
Red exterior toned down, tick. Pink interior next. So, Chris, what do you think I'm going to say about your kitchen?
Maybe you're going to say about the colour of the kitchen.
I am. It's quite an 80s colour. It's quite a dated colour.
Right.
The other sellers that came around had went, oh, that colour's awful. I was thinking that you could choose one of the colours, this sort of colour. I guess you'd call it frappuccino.
See, I'd go for that one.
I know you would, but we're not in the Mediterranean, we're in Luton.
Then if we do that, what happens with the blinds and stuff?
I would suggest either replacing them with Venetian blinds, or I would say make some new ones in a nice plain sort of Hessian linen type colour. I mean, one thing you can do if you love that whole Mediterranean vibe is maybe think about some artwork to go on the walls that would reflect that, using those kind of strong Mediterranean colours. She's not convinced, so there's only one thing for it. This is the sort of colour that I was talking to you about. I just want to give you an idea. I'll just do a bit here, but it's just to show you. See, so it's not white.
I'm still not convinced about the colour, but I'll just reserve judgment on it.
Fill your room with colour in other ways, like, you know, pots of herbs on the windowsill. You know, that's quite a Mediterranean thing to do. So, you know, get some brightly coloured pots.
Yeah, it blends in rather than clashes.
By painting it this colour, it will just make it feel so much bigger and so much brighter and just fresher. Chris is obviously a lover of very bold colours, which in one way I think is fantastic. However, when you're selling your house, you have to try and appeal to as many buyers as you possibly can. So that coral paint has to go.
I do feel a little bit deflated because obviously we're very house proud. We're really pleased with what we've done with our house.
I know it's painful, but you can't expect everyone or perhaps even anyone to share your taste. And hopefully husband Tony will help.
We really don't like the colour that's been that we've been advised to use. So
a bit of a compromise, I reckon.
Uh-oh.
So we were looking for something called Egyptian cotton.
Well, it's not bright pink, so I guess I'm happy.
I'm still not sure about this. I don't know if I really like it.
No, I didn't think you would.
We'll just have to see how it
Sells
goes.
the house, that's all we need.
That's the spirit, Tony. Once you've sold, you won't care what colour that kitchen is. Next, I'm with Andy, and I'm hoping that seeing his rivals' homes has got him thinking about the lack of colour at his place. Did you learn anything from looking at other 2 properties?
Mine, I think, is clearly black and white.
What you want to do is enable buyers to come in the front door. And at the moment, they can't come in the front door because the table is there and the bike is there. For me, you need to strip this back a bit.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
The next thing I want to address is the colour of the walls. I would suggest an injection of colour probably all along this, not the columns, but just the walls in between the columns. Something soft, not anything too harsh, not anything too in your face.
You said this looks like a batch pad, so me choosing colours is not good. So
I can help you with
think
that.
it needs a feminine touch.
I'll help you with that.
Yeah.
I would go
But
one
not
of two
dark.
colour palettes, either like the sort of soft, chalky sage greens, or you can get... There are so many off-whites nowadays that don't even look white.
I like colour. I do like colour. I don't dislike colour. It just happened this way.
This is going to be one of the big bugbears for mothers. Because mothers see danger in every corner of a house. If you put tension wires going down like this, not only will you still be able to see all the way through, but it will just subconsciously, when people are looking, they won't think that the little darlings are going to fall off the side of the steps. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
The other thing is the floor. Now, the floor is such a brilliant asset, and people pay so much money to get floors like this. I like the fact that it's all weather-worn and beaten and things, but it just feels a bit grubby. Can we give it a wash?
I think I got away with that. Andy's spare room is next.
What you need to do is bring it back to a bedroom.
I absolutely agree with that, yeah. Every time I come in here, I think it needs a bed.
Yeah, it needs a bed and it needs to feel like a bedroom. Get rid of all of this.
Yeah.
And the wardrobe and the shoe rack. Get a bed, not black, clean, crisp, white sheets, and maybe sort of a linen throw and some cushions.
Even I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling this. It needs a bed in here, so I agree with you totally.
But not a black one.
Not a black one.
I'll knock that bachelor out of him yet.
Another black and white room. Only this one's a bit different because Peter Stringfellow called and asked if he could have his towels and his block wallpaper back. I think the tiles above the shower and bath are great. I really like the tiles on the floor. I just feel that this is a little bit like being in a nightclub. Get the wallpaper off, and I would suggest painting it a colour, but painting it one of the two colours on the floor.
One.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All the changes that I'm suggesting, do you hate me or can you see where I'm coming from?
I'm aware of a lot of these things, you know, and I'm aware that I'm a man.
It's easy. We should look forward to coming back. Andy seems to be responding well to my suggestions, which I'm thrilled about because I think that this is a beautiful house full of charm and character. It is, however, very black and white, and it does need an injection of warmth and a few well-chosen colours.
I'm going to, pretty much do everything that she suggested in the time. Hopefully I'll be able to do it all. And, I'm going to crack on with it.
Well, he seems up for it, but before I go, I'm giving him a suggestion for those grubby floorboards.
No, Andy, it's not often I get down on my hands and knees wearing rubber gloves, but today for you I'm making an exception because I just wanted to show you how you can really bring this real wood floor back to life. So you can lime wash it. Now, this is quite a long, messy, smelly job, but the results are fantastic. So literally, just get a piece of the product like this, dab it on, and then just run it backwards and forwards. It needs to stay on for about 10 minutes and then buff it. It's going to bring out the natural colour of the wood and it's going to give it that lovely lime wash look. This tin will cost about £10. You can buy a much bigger pot because obviously you've got a lot of floor to cover here. Good for the old biceps, this. And the bingo wings. Men don't get bingo wings, do they? Easy.
Easy.
Andy's going to get to grips with the floor later and starts his makeover in the bathroom. It seems I may have touched a nerve with the wallpaper.
Now that she said Stringfellow, I now feel like it has to come off now. I think the lighter colour, nice mirror on there, it'll look much more in tune with what people will be looking for.
Andy uses a steamer, which makes light work of getting the wallpaper down, and he's cheered by the state of the wall underneath.
I'm really happy as well behind this wall that it's not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it'll look really nice, so I don't hate Amanda as much as I thought I would do, now that I know it's all nice and smooth.
Well, that's a relief. Finally, I'm paying Sonul and Avi a visit. They both had input into their house's design, which has left them with a muddled his and hers home. They were quietly confident after the snoop, so I need to get blunt here.
For me, The reason that we're standing in the conservatory is this is the room that I wanted to talk to you about. What I feel is going on here is there's a real mismatch and explosion of colours and patterns.
Okay.
So you walk in and you've got the black and silver swirly curtains here. You've got 3 or 4 different coloured patterned cushions. You've got that very bold patterned wallpaper at the back there. Pare it all back, get the rug up, get all the cushions up, and just take a look at the space. I just feel that because you've got a lot of dark wood and dark beams going on in here, that by using a dark pattern, it sucks the light out.
OK. I think that's quite a fair thing to say.
The wallpaper in your dining room, it is lovely. Something on a similar vein and a similar pattern would work really well on that wall.
The wall itself, changing that would be, I mean, making it lighter, definitely, yeah.
This will look lovely when it's all done.
Good response so far.
This that I'm leaning against is unbelievable because if you think, I'm nearly 6 foot, and if you outstretch your hands like that, that's your height. That's me touching the wall. So you are losing 2.5 foot of room in here. If you got rid of that wardrobe, you could even put a double bed in here. I would like to see this turned into a nursery. It's not the biggest room in the world, but it would be perfectly adequate for a baby or for a toddler.
I think we haven't utilised the space
No,
there.
we haven't.
Or I haven't utilised the space.
Well, you have. You've utilised it with thousands of clothes. Sonul, I know that this is an incredibly daunting task for you. Clearing out wardrobes is a hideous thing to do, but is it something that you think you'll be able to tackle with?
I will try. I will give it my best shot because if I don't do it now, I'd have to do it when we find a buyer for the house anyway.
Use the majority of your budget on this room because this is what is stopping you selling this house.
We're in the spare room next.
Now, the room that we're standing in at the moment, what is it? Nursery, guest bedroom, dressing room?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
You need to dress this as a proper guest bedroom.
Yes.
And this is a good-sized room, but you can't see that it's a decent-sized bedroom because there's so much stuff in here.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true. I think we could probably move the cot, and I think the filing cabinet can go.
Yeah. You need to get some boxes and you need to start getting ruthless. You need to throw out things that you haven't worn for years, and the stuff that you don't want to throw out needs to go up in the loft. Can you tackle it?
I
think it can be done.
Yeah.
I really feel for these guys. Their house is fantastic, but upstairs does let it down. They need to redefine the rooms, make them into proper bedrooms, and Sonul has to have a major clothes declutter, which I feel is going to be incredibly hard for her.
I think today has been really, really helpful. It's been an eye-opener, and I think we can learn from this and take it in a constructive way and make our house up.
That said, Sonul sets to tackling her jam-packed wardrobes.
Now I've got to swap my wardrobes around, so put all the stuff that I wear into my room, take all my saris and all my Indian clothes out and put them away in storage because it's not as if I wear that every day. So, but I think it's going to take me a while. Well, luckily Avi's gone to work today because if Avi was here, he would tell me to get rid of half the stuff straight away.
Looking at that lot, he may have a point.
So my problem is I get bored. So I'm already bored of doing this.
Avi, you're needed. After snooping round each other's homes, my 3 sellers are busy doing up their properties in the hope of winning an offer from my buyer, Sandeep. At Chris's colourful semi, she's dealing with over-the-top decor, starting in the kitchen.
So this is the new colour that we've chosen. It's just a tiny bit darker than the colour that we'd already been given. It is something that I feel a little bit more comfortable with. I do feel that I have moved an awful long way to just even get to this shade. So I'm sure I can find some orange pictures somewhere to put up on the walls.
I'll give you that one, Chris. Leaving the decorators to it, Chris and husband Tony hit the streets in search of inspiration for their exterior colour scheme.
They've all got the arches around their doors painted, or some have got the exposed brickwork, and we're just looking to see whether we could find a compromise. The other houses in the street, they have a more rustic colour that they've used, so we're considering using that sort of colour.
Decision made, it's down to Tony to get started.
My plan now is to go up this ladder and paint that red bit to the side in between the 2 windows. And then what I'll be doing afterwards is underneath the main window here, but still leaving this door red until we get the rusty colour.
For the outside, Tony has used a special waterproof and breathable paint, which can be painted straight onto stone. With top and bottom done, Tony has a plan.
I'm going to do something rebellious, and I'm going to see what it looks like to paint that. It's too late to change your mind now.
Oh, you are a devil, Tony.
Chris, I think when she comes home, we'll drive straight past the house because she won't know where we are, because it'll be so different.
For rival seller Andy, it's all about adding colour to his black and white cottage.
We're looking for some paints today, and one for the downstairs lounge. Amanda picked a colour for me because I'm terrible at picking these colours.
It's nice to see someone likes my colour choices.
And the other one, I have a spare bit of vinyl flooring from my bathroom, my Peter Stringfellow bathroom.
Oh dear, a nerve has definitely been touched.
And we're going to do that wall where the mirror was and hopefully take away the bling.
Paint mixed.
Off to paint.
Have fun.
Bye.
He's ready to start transforming his monochrome lounge.
I do like the colour. I'm hoping it will go a little bit lighter than this. It is a neutral colour, I guess, but it's starting to lighten in the areas that I can see where it's drying.
And with the first coat on, Andy's pleased.
But no, I think the colour's really nice. And with that cabinet there, I think it's going to look, I think it's going to look really nice.
At Sonul and Avi's His and Hers home, it's all about decluttering and making the rooms more spacious.
I spent the whole evening last night taking the cupboards down. When taking it out, as you can see at the ceiling, we'll just need to replaster some of the ceiling and just get some of it re-artexed as well.
The wardrobes may be gone, but Sonul's work is far from over.
These are all the clothes that have come out of that big wardrobe that I still wear. I'm sure I will find space for it, so it'll be OK.
Keep strong, Sonul. To prepare the box room for decorating, they've hired Jan to prepare the Artex.
Artex was terribly fashionable, wasn't it?
Yeah,
right up until, really, I guess, mid-90s?
Yes.
And now, all of a sudden, it's not, is it?
That's right. Nowadays, they just do smooth ceilings, and everybody wants smooth ceilings. They're all being plastered now. From every ceiling in your house might be Artex, and they're all being plastered. So it's creating a lot of work.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Artex has just gone out of fashion.
The ceiling upstairs is quite a tricky one, isn't it? Because as they've ripped the wardrobe out,
yes,
half of the ceiling needs patching up, but obviously you don't want to go to the expense of doing the whole thing. No. Is it fairly easy to just do a small part of a ceiling, or do you actually have to do the whole lot?
If you know the basic knowledge to do it, you can crack on and do it, and it's quite easy to do, yeah.
And luckily, Jan has that all-important knowledge. Back at Chris's, she's home and not best pleased.
I just went to work and I thought we were getting a brick red door, and I came home to this, which I wasn't very happy about.
Oops. But inside, Chris needs to get used to the colour change in the kitchen too.
Just at the moment, it just doesn't feel like home, my kitchen, but maybe that's not such a bad thing if we're moving away anyway.
You said it. She cuts down her new £172 blinds for the kitchen windows.
Yay!
At his monochrome cottage, Andy has come up with a sneaky way to redress the spare bedroom.
I came up with a cunning plan, which was to buy a inflatable divan bed.
At £200, it's a cheap way of making the spare bedroom as it should be. And he's also had a good idea about the stairway.
I'm going to attempt to build 3 rails going across here and blending into this section of the staircase. That's the plan. So we've got our angle now, which is really good, and that should, theoretically, nice. So now I know that fits, I'm going to, attach this to the wall and there. So
mind your spirit level, Andy. For a mere £72, Andy has created his own banisters, and now his stairs are as safe as houses. At Sonul and Avi's, while they continue decluttering, Jan has a plan for sorting that dark conservatory.
What you do to save time is you work out the pattern and you put the paper on the table and you sort of pre-match it before it goes on the wall, so then you've got 10, 12 lengths cut. So all you need to do then is just paste up loads of lengths and put them on the wall.
Simple as that. And it's just left to Sonul to give her first impressions.
Yeah, it looks a lot better, actually. I think once all the little bits go in, it will look like a really nice room. And I don't think I'll want to move.
Chris is in the final stages of toning down her colourful house, and although she's spent slightly more than her budget, she's feeling confident.
I think we've done enough to put us in a fair chance of winning with the changes that we've done. You know, we feel comfortable with the choices that we've made, and ultimately that's what I want us to be able to do. But obviously, I'd really like to win it.
The front of Chris's house was an overwhelming red. For just £140 for the paint to make it a lighter tone and some architectural plants, it now gives a smart and polished first impression.
It's an incredible difference out here. I mean, can you see the difference?
Yes, I can, yeah.
By painting around the door, what it does is it makes the front door really ping out. And I think if you look around the rest of the cul-de-sac, and this house really stands out now. What it's done for me is when you stand there now, this now looks like a house that's been really well maintained and really cared for. Let's get inside, because it's the kitchen that I'm really interested in.
Chris's kitchen was also boldly decorated in overpowering pink on the walls and blinds. It cost just under £400 to decorate with muted tones, but it's worth every penny for the calmer and tranquil feel she's created.
Now, I know that you were very anti changing your Mediterranean kitchen to what you felt was quite sort of a bland and boring colour. But looking at it now it's finished, I think it looks brilliant. I think that what it has done is made an already big space feel even bigger. You know, it matches the tiles. I love these.
We found them off the peg and then I had to cut them down.
Do you still hate it?
I'm not that keen on it.
Good job you're not selling it to yourself. At Andy's cool cottage, he's come in just under budget and he's happy with the results of all his hard work.
So I've done a lot. I think it's a good transformation. Bathroom I like. Lounge looks a lot bigger now that I've taken the sofa out. And this bedroom without the wardrobe in it and the bed in it, it looks like a different room, to be honest with you, so I'm very pleased with it. And I hope that when Amanda walks in that she's going to see the difference.
Andy's sitting room was a colourless space with Carefree Bachelor written all over it. Though he didn't get time to do the floor, the warmer tones on the walls and a safer stairway means it's a more welcoming and family-friendly environment.
Look, I can come in the front door.
Hello, Amanda.
This looks great.
Thank you.
I can get in the front door. Where's the bike gone? Into the...
It's hiding.
Sofa's gone.
Sofa's gone.
And I really like the colour on the walls.
Yeah. Added a bit of warmth, isn't it?
It really has, yeah. And the floor's not been limed, has it?
I haven't limed it, no. I was going to, yeah. It's purely down to time. However, I did clean it after you left because it was pretty, yeah.
Banister looks great as well, because instantly now that feels much safer than it did before. But it's enabled me to see the space for what it is, and if I can see it, then anyone coming through the door can as well.
Andy's spare room was a mix of monochrome and masculinity, but with the correct furniture and brighter colours, it will definitely appeal to a much wider range of buyers.
And this has completely changed.
Yes.
It's weird, isn't it? Just by taking out a few pieces of furniture and changing the colour of the bed linen, it feels brighter and fresher because you haven't got all that heavy black furniture kind of sucking the life out of it. Yeah.
Much bigger. This one, of all the rooms, this feels like the biggest transformation.
Yeah.
And Andy's bathroom was also a black and white bachelor space. But by spending just over £100, it's now less nightclub and more Savoy.
The bathroom looks fantastic. You know, no longer does Peter Stringfellow reside in there. Now it looks like it's gone from being a blokey bathroom to a very neutral bathroom that would appeal to men and women. I think it looks wonderful. I think you've done a brilliant job.
I'm really pleased with the results.
Yeah, you should be.
At Sonul and Avi's, Sonul is finishing the transformation from her walk-in wardrobe to child's bedroom.
I'm really happy with what we've done to this room. I mean, it looks so much more open. Before, this would be in my wardrobe full of all my stuff, so I'm really happy with it.
She then makes the bed in the newly decluttered spare room.
I wish we'd done it before. I think we did know we had to do it, but this really gave us a kick to kind of get it done.
Downstairs, their conservatory was a clash of patterns. Now, with earthy tones and brighter walls, there's a real sense of showing off the space.
You've made an incredible transformation. Everything blends now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got more of a flow to it, hasn't it?
It's got a flow, and I think the lighter colours just bring out the space in the room as well.
Yeah, definitely.
The difference here is enormous, so I cannot wait to get upstairs.
Their spare room was a mix of copped clothes and an out-of-place filing cabinet. Now, with small changes of bright linen, bedside tables and new lighting, it looks like a guest room.
But look at the difference. This room now feels like a guest bedroom or a proper bedroom, whereas before you had the cabinet, you had the bed, you had the cot, and it just felt like this sort of mismatch of everything. And beautiful bed linen. I mean, it looks inviting.
Sonul's dressing room was dominated by her wardrobes. Now, with the clothes cleared and it dressed as a nursery, you can see the potential of the space.
All the bedrooms now feel like a good size, even that one. I mean, just goes to show the difference taking out that wardrobe has made, because that now feels like a proper bedroom.
It's made a massive difference.
Huge difference, huge difference. I really appreciate the space in that room.
No more clothes.
No more clothes now.
I've got space to buy more now.
No!
I'm in Luton, preparing to show buyer Sandeep around my 3 properties. All 3 homeowners have stripped, painted and cleared their homes in the hope of securing an offer. Andy has injected some colour into his black and white cottage.
Given how much work that I've done on the house, I think it's been quite a large transformation. With regard to a buyer, I think if they'd seen it before and then comparing it to now, they'd be impressed.
Sonul and Avi have brightened their conservatory and decluttered their bedrooms to show off more space.
In terms of the competition, I think we're in with a very good chance. I think if Avi was here, he would definitely say, we've got it in the bag.
And Chris's colourful house is now a much more neutral affair.
I think it's been a learning process, and I think I've picked up some tips along the way that actually maybe sometimes it's worth giving it a go, and at the end of the day, it's just a coat of paint. You can change it if you don't like it.
Makeovers done, it's time to put them to the test and get my buyer Sandeep's verdict, starting with Andy's cottage.
There's lots of nice, interesting features about this, but it isn't the modern, sleek house that your wife would like.
It's very nice from outside, and it's more for me rather than my wife.
Yes. Well, let's see what you think when we get inside. There is another one that I think your wife will like, but we'll see.
Okay.
Let's go and have a look.
First, the sitting room that was disorganised and now desirable.
For me, this is a very cute family cottage, and it's quite deceptive. It goes on a lot further than you think. And what you've got at the side of the house is a driveway. Okay. So you could potentially go right out, and that would create an enormous downstairs living space.
Only downside, as you can see, is living room is very close to the main road.
Yes.
That's the only problem I can see.
Yep, and sadly I can't move the house back from the street, not for £1,000 anyway. Let's go upstairs to the bathroom that was all dark and disco and is now bright and inviting.
So, Sandeep, 3 good-sized bedrooms and a really big bathroom.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Would you change it?
Bathroom is quite nice. It's quite big also.
Your budget, top end, is 400,000, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
How much do you think this one is on the market for?
I think it should be around 300, 320.
It's on at 335, so a little bit over what you thought.
Okay.
But that would leave you 65,000 to play around with.
Because Sandeep is ideally after 4 bedrooms, I want to show him where he could extend.
Now, this is the space that I think has a lot of potential.
Yep.
And if you peer over in your neighbours' houses, you see they've all gone out.
Although they've extended.
Yeah, but you've then got this enormous area here to play around with.
All to cover up there.
So you could potentially think about extending the kitchen out to create the big open plan space that I know your wife loves. But potentially, is it something that you would consider?
Yes, this can be converted into a room.
Yeah. It gives you that extra space.
Extra space, what we're looking for.
Let's go.
I'm sensing that Sandeep is not convinced. Still, I've got 2 more houses up my sleeve. Next, we're at Sonul and Avi's 4-bed detached house.
I'm quite excited to be showing you this house because I think, on paper, this has everything that your wife has asked for. From the outside, what are your first impressions?
I think very nice. Looks very big. And I quite like 2 garages there. I think it has a lot of tick points.
Yeah, lots and lots.
Lots of tick points, yeah.
Now I'm even more excited. How about the newly brightened conservatory?
And here you have a really lovely, I think, conservatory. What do you think?
Yep, very nice. I can see myself relaxing in there all the time.
This is your room.
I think everything is perfect, looks like here.
Blimey, everything's perfect. This is going very well. Next, it's on to the once dressing room to delightful nursery.
There are 4 bedrooms in this house. This is the smallest room, which, ironically, I wanted to show you because I was thinking that I'm assuming your 6-year-old would probably have the smallest room.
Yes.
In terms of the size of it, it's obviously not the biggest room in the world, but for a 6-year-old
No, it's quite big.
boy...
Even though you've got desks there, bed can go in here.
Yeah.
So I think it's still big enough for him.
The price of this one is more than the cottage.
Okay.
What do you estimate it would be?
So I'm thinking around 410.
Okay. Well, you're going to like me very much then, because it's actually on at 385,000.
Okay.
So you've got £15,000 left over.
This is the best we've seen so far. So.
Excellent. Oh, that's good news then. Wonderful.
Let's see if I can go one better, as lastly, I'm taking him to Chris's house.
What do you think of the exterior of the property?
No, I think only downside is the semi-detached.
Yes.
I was looking for detached, but it looks quite big from outside.
Yeah, it's got... That's the only thing that it doesn't have for you, is the fact that it is a semi. But it's a 1930s house, so I was hoping that this would be the sort of compromise between the sort of modern that your wife likes and the old and character-filled property that you like. So we'll get inside and see what you think.
Inside, there's plenty of space to impress.
So now we've come inside, how does it compare to your initial impressions?
While I'm inside, I think I can see it could work.
Yeah.
Especially lounge and then conservatory and then patio. I think it just flows in and I quite like it.
He's warming to it. Next, the pink to peaceful kitchen.
Fantastic eat-in, kitchen, diner, big open plan, like your wife wanted.
Yep.
What do you think she would make of this one?
I think kitchen is one of the best we've seen so far. Yeah, it's big.
And as you can see, the garden is enormous.
I think this is my favourite kitchen. For the size, colours, units, everything, I think is in right order.
Okay, interesting, isn't it? There's a lot to think about, isn't it?
And I haven't even finished yet.
This is Mum and Dad's space. You know, this is the... You've got your ensuite bathroom in here. This is obviously the best bedroom, which I think is quite right that you should bag the best bedroom. And you do literally have views over the whole of the kingdom of Luton out there, which...
Very nice.
Yes, money can't buy it. How much do you think this one is on the market for?
I think it will be around 350.
Well, almost 360.
Okay.
You're not doing too badly. This is £25,000 less than the detached house.
Yep.
But I guess the big question is whether or not, for that extra 25 grand, do you feel like you're getting much more value for money?
Yep.
So lots to ponder on, isn't it? Come on.
So now for Sandeep, it's decision time. Will he go for Andy and his 3-bed cottage with bags of potential? Or Sonul and Avi and their 4-bed detached home? Or Chris's 4-bed semi?
3 very different properties. Which one didn't you like?
I think it has to be the first one, cottage.
The cottage, the Victorian cottage. What was it about it?
You did say about the extension to blue, but we are desperate to move. Just because of that, I think from the space point of it, practicality
just too much. So that leaves the 1930s semi and the modern detached house. Out of the 2 properties, do you have a favourite?
If you have to pick up one, I will go for second.
The modern detached?
Modern detached, yeah.
So what's the next step for you?
I think I'm going to get second viewing.
I shall wait with breath that is bated. Good luck with it.
Thank you for showing me around. Thank you.
So Sandeep wants to go back for a second viewing at Sonul and Avi's.
Hey, well done.
Nice job.
That's good news, good news.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, really happy about that. That's
Yeah, after all that hard work, that's brilliant.
Leaving the others hoping another buyer will come along soon.
Hopefully, with what we've done, it will just give us the opportunities for other people potentially to come and see the house, and ultimately that we find a buyer.
I'm not remotely surprised. I'm not disappointed either, because I kind of know who will buy this. I know the sort of people that will buy it, and someone will enjoy it.
Sadly, while Sandeep was contemplating whether to make an offer, he was pipped to the post by an offer from another buyer of £375,000, which Sonul and Avi have accepted.
Yours is definitely consistent, but what it is that it's consistently bare.
I'll be honest with you, I've had a bit of a stress with the paint. It looks awful.
The bad news is it's going to cost us more than we thought, but